Hey everybody, it's Party Elite, and the Steam Summer Sale of 2021 is upon us with a ludicrous number of excellent choices yet again. As with the last couple years, I wanted to highlight some specific deals that could easily slip under your radar, so I've got a selection of 6 strategy and strategy-adjacent titles that I think are well worth everybody's time. And on the topic of time, let's not waste any. Let's dive right in. Desperados 3 is 50% off after having released in June of last year, and it is hands down one of my favorite games from 2020 without hesitation. A real-time stealth tactics game set in the Wild West, this prequel to the Desperados series is an excellent way to bring back a classic, and by a very skilled set of developers too in Mimimi Games. Following series protagonist John Cooper, you learn how he meets Kate O'Hara and Doc McCoy, recurring characters in the rest of the series, and you also meet new characters in Hector Mendoza and Isabel Moreau. These are all characters that you take control of across a variety of missions, using their special abilities in isolation or in tandem to accomplish objectives as needed. Cooper is a gunslinger who can use his knife from range or up close to get stealth kills. Mendoza can use a shotgun or his whistling to attract enemies into the bear trap he can put down. McCoy is a sniper but also uses his familiarity with toxins to knock enemies out, while Kate O'Hara herself is a knockout, able to seduce and distract the enemy. Isabel has access to literal voodoo magic to give her control over enemies or spread damage between them when one gets hurt. She also has a pet cat that can distract enemies too. This wide spread of interesting skills and talents should be indicative of the kind of wild adventures you undertake, and with multiple ways to accomplish tasks, you'll be undertaking the same adventures multiple times to try them all out. On top of all this, there are extra challenges you can take on for each mission for bragging rights, and there are further modified versions of missions you can try as well. This is a game you can play over and over and over again, especially if you're the type to challenge yourself. I have zero hesitation in recommending this game at full price, so at 50% off, it is an absolute steal. Do not hesitate to pick Desperados 3 up if you haven't yet looked at it. If you're unfamiliar with the series and its storyline, that's all irrelevant because, again, this is a prequel, maybe even a bit of a reboot. I wouldn't mind that. And honestly, the developers have done a fantastic job with this genre before, and with Desperados 3, once more. Battle Brothers is another game I will readily recommend at full price. So at 50% off, it is a great opportunity to dive into this excellent sandbox RPG with its unforgiving challenges, deep, expansive mechanics, and charming art style and music to boot. The DLC is currently only 10% off each, so you can hold off on getting them until you've had your fill of the base game, but they do add more equipment, more starting options, and more adversaries, so they're a ton of fun too, at least in my opinion. Battle Brothers sees you leading a band of mercenaries, a band of battle brothers, if you will, and you'll find yourself traveling the land, speaking to nobles as you seek out quests, fighting beasts and bandits, acquiring wealth, and using said wealth to hire more battle brothers or improve the equipment of the ones you already have. Battle Brothers is tremendously fun, and as a fan of particularly lethal and unforgiving games, I personally enjoy it whether the dice gods are with me or not. The game is full of surprises and depth where you might not expect it. Using stabbing and slashing weapons against skeletons does little damage compared to bludgeoning, just as an example. Or there's that one beast that can eat corpses to get stronger in the middle of a battle. Or that other one that you're better off fighting in the nude. And I'm not even kidding. This is actually a thing that happens in Battle Brothers. This game is full of these light-hearted moments and quirks and many, many more. And it is such a well-crafted game that even after 6 years since its release, it remains extremely relevant, entertaining, and worth every penny. Warhammer 40k Mechanicus released back in 2018 and is definitely one of the best Warhammer 40k strategy games to come out in recent years, currently selling for 67% off. Putting you in charge of the machine god worshipping Adeptus Mechanicus and pitting you against the ancient Necrons, Warhammer 40k Mechanicus is a dungeon crawler with turn-based tactical combat where every shot always hits, so your success is less reliant on dice rolls and luck, and more so on your foresight and ability to plan accordingly. A very interesting and well-done twist on the genre. Augmenting your soldiers appropriately, acquiring the right weapons for the job, and ensuring the survival of your soldiers to keep access to them over multiple missions are all part and parcel of a campaign in this kind of a game. But the constant race against time, where more or less every action you take actually strengthens the enemy for the future, is a very interesting twist yet again. There are a lot of unique ideas in Mechanicus, and it does a great job of embracing the setting and taking advantage of the setting to base mechanics off of. And there are some very fun encounters against and using interesting units from both factions as well. There's no rush to get the Heretic DLC. In fact, it seems to be suffering from some technical issues at the moment, but don't let that take away from your decision to get the base game. It is a solid experience with a few playthroughs worth of time in it, and with the option to fine-tune difficulty in a few different ways, you can finesse it to your taste. This really is one of the most beautiful Warhammer 40k experiences for strategy gamers, and if you've overlooked it for some reason in the past, you should right that wrong. Darkest Dungeon, 80% off right now, is perhaps one of the most iconic indie games out of the last 5 years, with many games since its release trying to replicate both its gameplay mechanics and visual style. A roguelike tactical RPG, Darkest Dungeon has you fighting to reclaim your ancestral estate by recruiting, training, equipping, and ideally protecting a team of intrepid adventurers as they push through procedurally generated dungeons. The physical pain they suffer is only a fraction of the psychological trauma they face fighting off hordes of beasts across the game, and each of these things needs to be actually tended to in order to ensure continued success. Your characters will develop skills and talents, and they'll act in accordance to their traits, but they'll also develop mental and physical traumas from time to time. Permadeath and an unforgiving level of difficulty work nicely together to not only create a sense of dread and despair, but also a sense of accomplishment when you manage to finally pull something off with at least part of your party still alive. There are over 16 classes, and with DLC adding more and Steam Workshop integration, there's lots to explore between additional classes, additional enemies, and additional equipment. The game is 5 years old, but it's getting a sequel supposedly later this year, so now is a great time to check it out if you haven't already. For the narrator's voice and beautiful art style, if literally nothing else. The game is gorgeous and just tremendous amounts of fun. Industries of Titan has been out in early access on the Epic Games Store for about a year, and only just released onto Steam in early access, and it's already on sale, 20% off. The developers have shown themselves to be the types to properly embrace early access as an opportunity to take feedback and improve a game with constant, major upgrades on a monthly basis, and it looks like Industries of Titan will be living up to those expectations. Putting you in charge of a corporation on Saturn's moon, Titan, Industries of Titan is a city builder survival sim where you need to manage the acquisition of resources, the development of infrastructure, and the production of goods in order to fund the destruction of rebels while ensuring the continued success of your corporation and its masters. There are so many moving parts to Industries of Titan, and just as many layers, literally and metaphorically speaking. Not only are you laying buildings out across your city, but you're actually entering those buildings to lay out the various production, habitation, and financial equipment within. All locked to a grid, there's a puzzle element both when inside and when outside a building, as you try to sustain a balance between fuel and energy, materials and construction, employees and citizens and their salaries and well-being. So much going on. But beyond managing working and living conditions, you'll also be fighting off the aforementioned rebels. Massive turrets can be used to defend against them when they attack periodically, but you'll need to build ships of your own to go on the offensive, which then introduces a whole other element to the game. Unlocking heavier and larger chassis, designing ship interiors, and then taking them out to do battle is great fun, especially when battle actually begins and you're able to zoom in and tell your crew exactly what to shoot at, similar to FTL, Faster Than Light. There's so much to love about Industries of Titan, from its great music and gorgeous art style, to its various facets, to its plan for future upgrades. Again, all this at 20% off. You're already looking at various game modes, and the promise of multiple starting factions to give a great deal of replayability added where, again, there already is quite a bit of it. I had a ton of fun with it the other day on stream, so check out the VOD if you're curious to actually see the game in action, because again, there's so much going on, it's hard to summarize in, a paragraph or two as a little 2-minute snippet. So check out that VOD if this has piqued your curiosity. And again, it's a fantastic game, so don't hesitate to check it out on Steam. 20% off right now. Crusader Kings 3 is 20% off right now as well, and as my favorite game of 2020, and also considering I still pour hours upon hours into it on a weekly basis, it's very easy for me to recommend. Putting you in charge of a realm as either a count, a duke, a king, or an emperor, Crusader Kings has always been about playing a character and their heirs, tackling the vagaries of court, dealing with power-hungry vassals, scorned lovers, and competing royals. You'll have fun going to war, but you'll also enjoy playing medieval Tinder as you cheat on your spouse, going on hunts to make yourself seem impressive among your peers, and hosting great feasts where all manner of shenanigans can either bring you glory or shame. You'll do battle, fight duels, arrange assassinations, and grovel at the feet of your liege, or perhaps betray them and take their place on the throne. Alternatively, you'll see the same done to you. From Iceland to the Horn of Africa, over to the Bay of Bengal and the steppes, you have the option of playing across a variety of places as a variety of cultures, faiths, and realms. The choices and potential storylines seem absolutely endless, and with major updates right around the corner, you can expect the experiences to see a huge overhaul to make it all feel fresh in the very near future, and then again, and again, and again, as is the Paradox way. Crusader Kings 2 honestly changed how I looked at strategy games, and Crusader Kings 3 continues to uphold that tradition. I can easily and wholeheartedly recommend Crusader Kings 3. It feels like there's something for pretty much everybody, and if it sounds like it's for you, again, it's a whopping 20% off already. If you're curious to see more Crusader Kings 3 in action before making the call, there's plenty of it to watch on this channel, because again, like I said, week after week, I continue to pour countless hours into the game because it is just that much fun. Don't hesitate to check it out. Now, a few more quick recommendations. Warsaw, Steel Division 2, Age of Wonders Planetfall, Frostpunk, Planet Zoo, and Total War Warhammer 2 are great to grab at some amazingly low prices right now. If you're not familiar with those titles or what they are, don't hesitate to check out my video from last year that I'll link in the description and pinned comment down below, as well as under the eye at the top right corner of the screen. I do a quick overview of them in that video, much like the 6 I did today, or 2021, but it's not like older games don't keep going on sale, right? And I thought it'd be weird to repeat myself from last year when there's already a video out there that you could watch to learn about those games that are at those same, if not better prices right now that you might be interested in picking up as well. So again, folks, links to that is in the description down below, the pinned comment, and the eye at the top right corner of the screen as well. I hope this video has helped you find or maybe remember a few gems that might have otherwise slipped under your radar. If you have any of your own to share, feel free to do so in the comments below. I'm always on the lookout for more great games, and anybody scouring through the comments might be too. As always, if you want to keep up with strategy gaming reviews, previews, let's plays, and more, don't hesitate to subscribe to the channel. And also, as always, a massive thanks goes out to all of my channel members and patrons who've been supporting the channel on a monthly basis. Y'all keep us alive and running smoothly. And of course, a big ol' thanks goes out to each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, cheers.